I remember about 5 years ago, I was working for this company. I was a supervisor. I was running a crew of 18. How I ended up getting that job is very I don't know how to explain it, but I ended up getting this job because I posted a really good resume on Craigslist, and a territorial manager contacted me, and he liked the fact that I was a Navy veteran of 8 years. Anyways, I got hired. As soon as I got hired, I went through the training. It was kind of a honeymoon phase, and then I began to see the problems with this job. I began to see the people were being overworked. And by the way, most of these guys were Hispanics. There was a couple of blacks. I don't believe. Yeah, and we had a couple of white Americans. Yeah, but it was kind of challenging. It was kind of challenging because I was the supervisor. You know, I would supervise over 18 stores. We worked for Rayleigh's, and what we did was, it was janitorial work. We actually took care of the floors for Rayleigh's and a couple of other areas. It was a lot of work, and the company was having immigration issues because they had undocumented workers working for them, and I came into all of this. Now, it was pretty good pay. I was on salary. I was a supervisor. I was supervising 18 people. But it wasn't long after I got hired that I began to really hate this job. I enjoyed the pay. I was working at Home Depot prior to working for this company. I had been a year at Home Depot. I had been working on myself, doing self-empowerment, self-improvement stuff, reading, journaling, positive self-talk, studying all of these areas because I wanted change, and I was struggling with addictions, and in particular a very, very problematic gambling issue that I had. By the way, it took me over 32 plus years to overcome that and finally get free from that one. Anyways, I ended up with this company. I was going through these kind of an emotional state because I was working on myself, and after I realized what was going on, the labor, the intense labor that was being thrown upon one individual to cover an entire store. My job was to come in, supervise, train, hire and fire, and do all that kind of stuff, and check out about 18 stores. Not every night. There were several stores that I would check out because I did a lot of driving. And to make a long story short, I began hating this job. I did not like I didn't like doing the job by myself because it was a lot of work. And it was just, I was losing weight just from being there. There was a couple of days off that I had during the week, but mainly it was a 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. job, all the way to 7:30, 8 o'clock, sometimes even 9 o'clock in the morning. During my trips that I was making from store to store, sometimes I would have an hour and a half drive. I was actually recording affirmations in an Android phone app. I was actually recording my future self. I was describing this individual that I wanted to be, right? Strong, capable, positive, patient, a good speaker, a great listener. And I wanted to be free from gambling too. So that was all part of this. And I made these little segments. They were like 10 to 15 minutes each. And there was different ones. There was about 3 or 4 of them. And I had them in that Android phone. So I'd plug in my headset while I was driving from job to job. So I couldn't do it on the job itself. As soon as I got in my car, boom, I plugged myself in and I could listen to myself over and over and over. And I listened. There was many, many hours. Even when I went home, sometimes in the morning and on my days off, of course, I was doing all these other life hack rituals to change my life. But this electronic affirmation, this is really strange. It's not strange, but it's very moving. It's very phenomenal. Here we are like 5, almost 6 years later, and I recall, by the way, I got let go from that job. Some things transpired, and I got let go, and my life went on. I know the company's still around, but I tell you, the people that work for that company, I hope that they would put 2 individuals in each one of those stores, because the work was brutal. For like 11, 12 bucks an hour, it was brutal. And I started the fight for some of these individuals. Anyways, I ended up getting let go, and a little bit more happened, which I'm not going to get into in this video. But today, we're in 2018. Today's October. We're getting ready to go in October 26th. I was thinking today, I was reflecting back on those times that I was using that electronic affirmation to paint a mental image into my subconscious of who I wanted to become. Now, I didn't know whether that would work. In fact, I didn't know whether any of this self-empowerment, self-improvement stuff was going to work. But I tried it. I experimented with it. I was getting stuff from videos, YouTube videos. I was reading blogs from Google. I was journaling. As I always mention, I'm always journaling. I was trying to keep a journal with me. I was doing a lot of writing. I was reading books. And then I was going to seminars, and I was meeting with people that I believed could help me. Some of it was very positive. Some of it wasn't so positive. Some of it was a loss of money and time. But anyways, when I think about that time that I was driving, and I was putting in that little headset in my ear and listening to those segments, they were like 10 to 15 minute segments that I would just listen to it over and over and over and over and over. Today, I see in my life that picture. I see that image that I was painting like 5 or 6 years ago. Of course, the transition began a lot sooner than 5 or 6 years later. But what I'm saying is, I was actually creating a mental image of my future self in these segments, and I was feeding that into my mind. And today, when I look back, I've become, and of course I'm still evolving, because there is no complete perfection, but as I look back, I see this image of myself that I was once recording into that Android phone and listening to. It's really amazing. I mean, it is really amazing. Now, I'm going to work on keeping this video short, but please stay with me. You and I are in a battle zone. There is a war going on. There has been war waged against you and I through and that war is really meant to paralyze us. It's meant to hypnotize us, and it's also in a way meant for us, if we're not careful, to self-destruct our own selves so that we don't succeed in life. It's weird how all of these things happen, but it is true. Social media, television, news, radio, family, friends, co-workers, and ourself. We do, and if we're not careful, we allow all of these areas to input stuff into our minds, and it's repetitive over and over and over. Why are people so delusioned today? Why are people so distraught? Why are people today, of course, sinful nature doesn't help either. But why are people, when you talk to people, they lack self-belief, and believe me, I was there too. I come from a very, very difficult childhood, time of trauma, a severe trauma from within my own home, from within my father and other family members that were there as I was growing up. And then, of course, outside of my home, the apartment where we lived in apartments. We never owned a home. All the violence and the things that would go out in the community out there, I called it the projects, as we lived in many poor areas. They were like projects. And so my mindset was very screwed up. I was very insecure. I was very timid. I was very shy. I didn't have any direction. I didn't have any purpose at all. I didn't know who I was. I had no identity. I didn't know who I was. And all these years, 30, 40, In my late 40s, that's when I began to experience some changes in my late 40s. And today I'm 52. This month I'm 52 years young. But I tell you, I look back today and I remember those hours that I would drive from job site to job. And believe me, part of why I was doing those affirmations, electronic affirmations, was because I hated that job. I only lasted like 7 months, but I hated that job and I needed something to keep me going. And I tell you, honestly, those affirmations, listening to those affirmations, and of course doing all the other things that I was doing, but when you're driving, you can't really do a lot of reading, you can't really do a lot of, you can do a lot of listening. And today I look back and I'm kind of, it's really strange. I'm kind of shocked. I've been able to overcome many addictions. I've been able to overcome problem gambling of different sorts, not just casino gambling, because you can gamble in the privacy of your home, in your own home today, very easily. In fact, I was watching a video earlier today that said people, young people, teens, are gambling online at home through laptops and computers because it's not really controlled environment. I heard this. People are gambling naked today. And I'm telling you, there is an epidemic of mind control. There's an epidemic going on, my friends, with all of these problems that if we're not careful, if you and I are not careful, if we don't become consciously aware of what's going on around us, even our friends, our loving friends, they themselves, they may not even know that they have fallen into that trap of being hypnotized through these, as I said earlier, social media, television, family members, co-workers, and even their own minds. Because your own mind can be your best friend, or it could be your worst nightmare. And I'm excited because I'm growing. I'm excited because I'm going to continue to plant seeds to help people around the world. I know this video is a little bit longer than usual. I hope that you've watched it in its entirety, and I hope that you got something out of this, because I am excited about growth. I am excited about transformation. I'm excited about the fact that I am free, even though till this day, I'm still paying the price financially for all the damage that I've done. And believe me, I don't like to look back at my past. I don't like to look at the money, the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I've lost. I don't even like it. The moment that I start thinking about that, it brings me down very quick. So I'm very careful, obviously, what I allow my mind to think about. But even though all of these things are under my feet, yes, I still have challenges. Yes, I still have problems in many different ways as a result of the abuse that I brought upon myself. Some of it was intentional, obviously, and some of it wasn't intentional. But I'm telling you, my friend, today is a day of new beginnings. There are a few life hacks that you can begin doing, just a handful of them. Okay? Number one, positive self-talk, using electronic affirmations, journaling, watching videos. And the more that you do this, the more the repetitive that you do it, force feed your mind. I'm telling you, it's going to make a difference in your mind. Relabel. I don't know who you see in your mind's eye. I don't know. I know who I see. But do you want to see a better mental image? Do you want to see a better image, a better vision in your mind's eye of yourself? You can get that person that you want. You can get that person. You can draw them out, and you can bring that person. I say draw it out, put it on paper, and use some of these life hacks, and you can paint, and you can bring that mental image into your mind. Believe me, if I've been able to do this, and believe me, it took me over 32 plus years to get here, especially with problem gambling. My friend, you can do it also. So I'm going to end here. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you've gotten something out of it. Hopefully you've taken some notes. If you haven't, watch it again. You will get something out of it. I guarantee it. My connection link to my personal website will be below in the description box. I would encourage you to subscribe. soldiersofselfmastery.com/happier. Get on our email list. We'll send out an email to you. We'll let you know when great things are happening. And right now, my book, Obviously, I am the author of this book. It's actually currently back under construction because, again, you trust people to do things for you, and sometimes you just got to do it yourself. And of course, I'm not in these areas, but I'm going to get it corrected. We're going to put the book back on Amazon, and it's going to actually be like this size, not this big old book that I got, and with mistakes on the inside. It still has good content inside, but there's many mistakes that I need to correct. So with that said, my friend, I'm going to continue to make every single day a super fantastic, terrific, over the top day, daily, in spite of, and because of. I'm truly excited. I'm truly grateful to the Lord Jesus Christ for the change, for the changes, for the foundational grace that is in my life today. And it all really started out with 3 books: the Bible and prayer, Anthony Robbins' book, Awaken the Giant Within, and Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. So with that said, I'm going to see you at the top on the inside on my very next one. Peace through strength, my friend. And salute, soldier of self-mastery.